How's it going, everybody? It's your boy Sanity here. So I can't believe that we live in a day and age where we actually have to explain something very simple, but well, here the fuck we are. And funnily enough, I was reminded that this video existed by a good friend of mine, Azul33, mainly due to him uploading a video responding to this very video. Now, of course, yes, if you were around during the time, I did in fact already take a look at this video live on stream at some point, and it was genuinely one of the most horrifying and also one of the funniest videos I think I've ever come across on my entire fucking existence on this platform. And it's a video titled, Why We Should Allow Child Labor. Again, I can't believe that we live in a day and age in which I have to explain why exploiting children and basically causing irreparable harm to them is a bad thing, but well, here the fuck we are. So without any further ado, let us sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, and let's just get started here.
I believe that boys as young as 10 years old should be allowed to participate in the workforce. I want to make it clear that I don't support girls or women working at any age, but that's a topic for another video.
Yeah, we are only 10 seconds into this video, and there's already way too much to unpack. Like, we're starting it off by basically, you know, having a nice opening statement of, yeah, we should allow, really, really young people as young as fucking 10 years old working with fucking power tools. But, you know what, when it comes to the girls, we shouldn't be allowing them to work whatsoever. Like, we're already starting off with a double whammy of, Jesus fucking Christ, what is wrong with you?
My first reason to reintroduce child labor to the Western world is the fact that the best way to learn how to do something is by being immersed in it. In all my years of school, if any one of the students had thought critically as to why we were there and asked the teacher what the point of school was, they usually said it was to prepare us to go to college, and then that would be the gateway into the work world. As many people are now realizing that college and university is a sham, unless you're looking to become something like a medical doctor or a lawyer.
Listen, I can at least agree with one thing, and that is that, like, the modern school system, especially here in the States, it really fucking sucks. Like, that's at least one thing that we can agree on, but that doesn't mean that we should have the children yearning for the mines, okay? That's not really that much of a fucking justification. Yes, modern schooling sucks, therefore we should shove children into the mines and have them working with dangerous power equipment and potentially with electricity and, you know, basically setting them up to die. Yeah, that's, you know, I feel like that there's probably better methods other than literally forcing kids to work for barely minimum wage if they're even getting paid at all, let's be fair here. Regardless of where these kids end up working, whether it's in retail, God forbid, or with fucking power equipment, or working in the fucking mines or anything along those lines, you really think they're gonna get paid? Fuck no. And on top of that too, you're just causing a bunch of psychological and possible physical harm to a kid just because you are a greedy piece of shit that really enjoys abusing children. Like, that's pretty much the only reason why you would actually want to bring child labor back, is just because you hate children.
Some may even argue you don't need university for that either. Instead of wasting their youthful potential on sitting around in a boring classroom all day, why don't we just cut straight to the chase and offer them programs to start working different jobs to see what they really like to do?
Well, you see, if you ever wanted to have them get hands-on experience with certain things in a safe manner, we already have a tool for that. It's called summer camp, you fucking moron.
I have found that people learn best when they are actually willing and interested to learn instead of constant useless information being crammed in their head. This is one reason why we should end state compulsory education. If children are able to choose their own vacation at a young age, they won't even have to go to college unless they really wanted to.
You do realize that college isn't exactly mandatory unless you want an extremely good job? Like, that's really the only purpose of college, is just to get those higher level jobs, or even just, like, learn more of a specific field, rather than just learn general shit that regular schools, I guess, technically teach you, although they don't really teach you anything other than just how to memorize shit, but that's a rant for a video that will never exist, let's be honest here. Well, again, college isn't mandatory. Why do you think people need to pay out their assholes in order for them to even get into any college, regardless of how good it is? It's because it's not really that required. It's considered more of a privilege more than anything else, which, mind you, is just a disgusting thought, let's be fair. I feel like higher level education should actually be, you know, something that people should be able to get for free and not have to quite literally put themselves into crippling debt in order to actually obtain it. But again, that's probably yet another topic for a video that will never exist.
This works especially well when you consider how much learning potential there is for young minds. They're able to soak up much more information quicker than teenagers and adults. So why waste that crucial window of opportunity learning about ancient Mesopotamia or how the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, while instead they could be learning useful trade skills such as being an electrician, a plumber, or a carpenter?
Yeah, how about we don't have children working with electricity? How about we don't do that? How about instead we have kids, not potentially electrocute themselves or drown themselves doing plumbing? How about we don't do that? That, in my opinion, that sounds like a bad idea.
I'm not saying that the aforementioned isn't useful information given the right context, just that it's not what should be compulsory education for a 10-year-old. My second main point is that allowing children to work gives them a greater sense of freedom, but also the responsibility that comes with that.
My brother in Christ, this is basically telling me that you've never worked a single job in your entire fucking life, because you do realize the amount of limitations put onto your freedom whenever you actually have a job. Like, my brother in Christ, you definitely haven't worked a single fucking day in your life. I work a fucking part-time job in fucking retail. I could barely leave my own fucking station. Like, that's, like, one of the biggest restrictions that they have on me. I can't leave my own fucking station unless there's someone else up there to take over for me while I go ahead and do something off the station. And, of course, to quickly mention what he said earlier, yeah, he's basically letting us know that, he's expecting 10-year-olds to, once again, as stated earlier, work with fucking electricity and plumbing and being carpenters. 3 trade jobs that require you to use dangerous tools or work in dangerous conditions, types of jobs that could possibly result in either you losing your hand or losing your life, But I don't think this guy actually cares, does he?
I believe that giving them responsibility helps to better prepare them for challenges in life, and in that sense actually makes it easier. I believe the added responsibility helps give their life purpose and meaning. To quote the clinical psychologist Jordan Peterson,
we're not going to be listening to him quoting a failed psychologist here who uses his psychology degree as a way to basically just pull people into a red pill community, so we're just going to skip over this one, and I'll just give you my live raw reaction to, that entire fucking scene, largely because of just how unbelievably, impossibly stupid it is for you to unironically quote someone like Jordan fucking Peterson, of all people. Like,
to quote the clinical psychologist Jordan Peterson, quote,
Oh, fuck off! Why would you quote somebody who nearly lost his license because he couldn't help but make fun of trans people like my brother in Christ?
Another point I would like to make is that adults are always trying to convey the value of money to children, and what better way to do that than to allow them to have their own income?
Once again, if you wanted to give a child an income just for a laugh, we already had a tool for that. It was called an allowance. Have you ever, did you not have an allowance as a kid? Even I had one for a short time. Like, are you high? Are you actually stupid? Maybe that's why you think that child labor would be a good idea. Unpaid child labor. Like my brother in Christ, again, like I mentioned before, do you really think corpos are really gonna be fucking giving kids money? No, they're gonna take full advantage of how stupid kids are.
They see firsthand what it takes to get it. Going back to what I said about having a job, giving them freedom, it also gives them independence, which I believe is something sorely lacking in this world today.
Yeah, and part of the reason why a lot of independence is lacked is because of modern day jobs. Again, I don't think this man has worked a day in his life.
When they start becoming more financially independent, then they can also start their own family at a young age. Getting married and having children will definitely give them more responsibility, and having a job prepares them for that.
Keep in mind, he's talking about 10-year-olds. He's talking about people that are barely preteens, mind you. Not even preteens. And here he is talking about them starting families. If you aren't already seeing the red flags, like, that are larger than the entire United States, then I feel like you probably need to go outside.
I'm not saying that 10-year-olds should be having children, but it prepares them for when they will. I believe in starting a family as soon as possible, and I can't seem to find all that much wrong with 14 or 15-year-olds having children.
Yeah, that doesn't exactly make it any better. And plus, this image right here is, very disturbing. I feel like we should probably search this man's drives, like, vigorously.
Another major point that I think may go overlooked is that this could be the key to fixing the supposed youth mental health crisis.
I don't think, again, this is just more proof that he's probably never worked a day in his life. If you think that kids having jobs is going to solve the youth mental health crisis, then I am sorry. It is, it's already causing a lot of mental strain to adults. What do you think that's going to do to a fucking kid? Yeah, I'm pretty sure the, child, self-termination rate is probably going to skyrocket if we decide to bring back child labor.
Considering a lot of young men are diagnosed with ADHD and anxiety, which I believe is directly caused by having to sit still all day and be told exactly what to do and when to do it by some old wench who probably doesn't even care about kids.
Yeah, I think we're just going to skip over this part because it's just a lot of really stupid ways of trying to diagnose what causes ADHD. I'm sorry, but you're trying to claim that, like, you know, teachers don't care about kids. Meanwhile, you're quite literally making an entire video where you're advocating for the harm of children. Yeah, you know, Kettle, the pot called, and he says you're black.
Now, some people may argue against child labor, saying that it's not safe for children to work, and they will often cite the Industrial Revolution when children worked in dangerous conditions in factories, and it wasn't uncommon for them to be mutilated or crushed to death in some way by the large machines. What people are forgetting here is that during the Industrial Revolution, work was hard, intense, and dangerous for everyone, not just children. But now we live in a time where work is much safer, and work-related injuries and fatalities have dropped significantly across the board. This also is assuming that children must be doing some kind of manual labor job, when I think people overlook how great some children are in, say, the tech field.
So apparently my mic decided to not pick up this particular segment of commentary that I decided to give this particular segment, so I'm mainly coming in during editing here in order to try and rectify that. So, yeah, here we go. So, yeah, he brings up the whole entire, oh, people bring up the Industrial Revolution argument, and you get the entire point, but let's put it this way. Just because work is safer now doesn't exactly mean that workplace incidents don't still happen, especially considering that, well, you try to claim that, you know, people assume that you're talking about, like, menial labor when you quite literally brought up menial labor earlier on in the video in the form of electricians, plumbers, and fucking carpenters. You know, the three, like, most dangerous kinds of work to actually possibly do, and the three, like, biggest, like, trade jobs that have, like, the most incidents, like, that still exist today. You know, one could only imagine why their immediate thought would go to you wanting kids to do menial tasks that require a lot of hands-on shit and could possibly cause their hands to come off. You know, I could only imagine, you know, why people would immediately assume that, you know, there could possibly be a risk of a child doing a slightly wrong crosswire and becoming the first 10-year-old barbecue. I could realistically only fucking imagine why that would be their first thought.
Taking tech support, for example, if a child were working in this field, then they may be skilled than even some of the adults. And there's virtually no safety risks involved because you're simply working on the computer taking messages or calls.
Well, this is just letting me know that you don't know anything about tech support, and this coming from someone who's had to deal with tech support for the past, like, 3 fucking days because a certain someone's phone kept on fucking up. But, again, that is besides the point, okay? Listen, as angry as I could possibly get on tech support, I have to at least give them some props for managing to even stay strong enough to actually deal with even the worst of fucking customers. Do you realize what that, again, the kind of strain that that could possibly put onto a kid with, like, really ruthless customers that could possibly scream and and say all kinds of obscenities towards a fucking child of all people? Like, you do realize the kind of environment that we live in where, you know, any adult basically just looks at a child and just views them as just, like, a lesser human being, if anything else? Like, If we needed an example, just take a look at my videos talking about fucking a British potato trashing on a 13-year-old that beat Tetris. Like, that's just a prime example right there as to the kind of culture that we're dealing with here when it comes to adults versus children. The mental strain that that could possibly put onto a kid is probably more than enough to cause that kid to probably want to, turn to the bottle at a later date. But I think we're just going to end the video off right here because there's really not much else to talk about. I did, again, take a look at the entire video on stream at some point, so if you feel like it, and if I remember which stream it's at, then I'll probably link it down below so that way you guys can take a look at it for yourselves. But yeah, anyways guys, if you guys enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like, that's very well appreciated. Leave a comment down below what you thought about the video, what you want me to talk about next, and also subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want to see more content such as this. Also, go ahead and follow me on Twitter, and go ahead and join the server down below if you feel like doing so. And yeah, anyways guys, this has been Sandy, and have yourselves a nice day.